Hey everybody, today we're going to show you how to find all 39 of the journal entries that are located around the map here in Palworld. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So the first one we're going to get is on the far southeastern side of the map. It's just southeast of the Plateau of Beginnings fast travel. You guys can see our exact location here right by the beach. There's going to be this castle looking thing on the side of the mountain. And just inside, you're going to be able to find your first journal entry. Our second journal is going to be found just north of the Plateau of Beginnings. Here is our exact location. We're going to be right down the stairs from the fast travel. You guys can see it right here. Right over here next to the stairs, there's going to be a river. And at the end of the river where you guys can see the gate, you're going to have a purple chest. And right next to that chest is going to be our next journal entry. Our third location is going to be found just west of the grassy Behemoth Hills fast travel on Spawn Island here. You guys can see our exact location. And once you get over here, you'll see the broken down church looking thing. This is one of the first ones that you'll encounter in the game. But right here in the back right corner of that church, you're going to be able to find journal entry number 3. Our fourth journal is going to be found on the far southeastern side of the map as well. Here is our location. It's going to be found on this giant rock area just south of the giant skeleton in the water. And once you get over here, you'll see it. It's pretty much in the wide open. You can come over here and be able to grab a journal entry at number 4. Number 5 is going to be found just west of the small settlement fast travel. You guys can see we're going to be right over here, right in front of this big rock that we have marked on the screen. And once you get over here, you'll see this is kind of what it's going to look like. And down by all these trees, right below the rock formation, you guys will be able to find our 5th journal entry. For number 6, we're going to head just north of the small settlement fast travel. You guys can see we are standing on this little dirt path just northeast of the fast travel. Once you're up here, you'll find a broken down building, and our next journal is going to be right in the middle of this broken down building. Number 7 is going to be found at the Desolate Church fast travel. You guys can see the fast travel location if you don't already have it. This one's super easy to find as it's going to be found directly next to the fast travel. So you can come right over here and grab the next one. Our 8th journal entry is going to be found just west of the Desolate Church fast travel. You guys can see on your map, you have all these rocks over here. We're actually going to be underneath. So you can see if you work your way underneath this giant rock formation, there's going to be an abandoned mine shaft. And right next to the abandoned mine shaft entrance, you will be able to find our 8th journal entry. Our next journal entry is going to be found northeast of the Rayne Syndicate Tower entrance fast travel. You guys can see the location for that here. We're standing just north of that, right up here in this big patch of dirt. And when you get up here, it'll be pretty easy to spot as there's not much around. And right over here next to the rocks, you will be able to find our next entry. Our next entry is going to be found really close to the Fort Ruins fast travel. You guys can see Fort Ruins here. We're going to be just northeast over here in this little plot of dirt on your map. And what this is a broken down castle. From here, you can actually see the fast travel. So when you get there, just go down the stairs, come right over here to the broken down castle, and you can pick up your next journal entry. For our next one, we're going to head over to the sealed realm of the Frozen Wings fast travel. You guys can see we're actually just north of the Pen King boss. We're going to go just to the right of that fast travel, and you guys can see from where I'm floating. Once you get to the fast travel, you want to come right over here on this set of rocks, and right over here on the rock, you're going to be able to find our next journal entry. Our next journal is going to be found over by the bridge of the Twin Knights fast travel. You guys can see that location here, and this one's pretty easy to spot as it's right next to the fast travel, just on the other side of the bridge here. So we can come right over here to this corner, go ahead and pick it up, and that'll be your next journal entry. Our next location is west of the sealed realm of the Sword Master fast travel that you can see here. What you want to do is go across the river and just south of the Bronze Cherry Aqua boss. You can see we're actually going to have a little patch of dirt here. This is going to be a syndicate camp. We're going to be on the northern side of that syndicate camp. So from in the sky here, you can see the camp is right here. All you want to do is head just north of that, and right over here on the edge of the hill, you're going to be able to find your next one. So we can go ahead and jump down. Just want to be careful in this area because there are syndicates everywhere, but you can go ahead and pick this one up and get your next journal entry. Our next entry is going to be found northwest of the Investigator's Fork fast travel that you can see right here on your map. And just north, you're going to see this patch of dirt. There's actually going to be a syndicate camp right here. We're going to be just to the left of that camp, and we're going to be way up in the sky. So you can see the syndicate camp directly below me. Up here is going to be a giant rock formation that kind of sticks out over the edge of the mountain over top of that camp. And at the very top of this rock formation is where you're going to be able to find your next journal entry. So we can drop down and pick that up and you will have your next one. Our next location is going to be found over here by the sealed realm of the winged tyrant, and it's actually found directly on the Wyvern boss. So just north, you guys can see Wyvern. Head over to this boss location, and right underneath the giant statue that you will find when you get here is going to be our next one. So we can fly right over here, be able to get our next journal entry. So our next journal entry is going to be found northwest of the deep bamboo thicket fast travel. You guys can see this here on our map. And we are standing just northwest. Now, right here is going to be a big patch of dirt in this area. And from where we're standing just northwest of that, you can see it. And what you want to do is work your way across that dirt path all the way over here. There's going to be a little rock formation on the edge of the mountain. And you're going to be able to find that next journal right here at the bottom of this giant rock. So you can fly on down here, go ahead and pick that up, and that will be your next journal entry. For our next journal, we're going to head south of the Azarobe Hill fast travel. You guys can see that here on your map. What you want to do is work your way down the beach to pretty much this exact location that you can see my arrow in. And we want to be up on the side of this mountain. So you can see where we're floating here directly up from the beach on the side of the mountain here where this bamboo is on the ledge. You're going to be able to find our next journal. So I'm going to fly over here in between the bamboo and go ahead and pick that up. And that'll be your next journal entry. Our next location is over by the ancient ritual site fast travel. You guys can see pretty much right in the middle of your map. And what we want to do is head right up to where the boss fight is for Petalia. And when you get over here, you can see the boss fight entrance is right here in front of us. You want to come over here to the right against this giant wall formation, whatever this thing is. And right below the wall here, you're going to be able to find your next journal entry. For our next one, we're going to head northwest of that ancient ritual site that we were just at with Petalia. You guys can see we're going to be right up here on your map. You're going to have this weird looking rock structure, and this is where your next journal is going to be. So when you get up here, this will be what it looks like. Giant structure kind of slanted off the side of the mountain here. And right at the beginning of that structure is going to be your next journal entry. For our next location, we're going to head over to the Island Hopper Coast fast travel. You can see the location here, and we're going to go just to the northwest. You guys can see we have this weird structure on our map, and when you get up here, you guys will see it's kind of the ruins of a castle or a bridge. And right over here on the edge of the walkway, right below this giant rock, is going to be your next journal entry. So you go ahead and grab that one. Our next location is going to be found south of the sealed realm of the Swift fast travel. You guys can see our exact location right down here. It's also just northwest of the Jormuntide boss. But right up here in the mountains, when you get here, this is what it's going to look like. There's a couple giant rocks that are like ramps that lead up the side of this mountain right next to this waterfall. And in front of the waterfall at the very, very top, you're going to see on the edge here is going to be our next journal entry. Our next one's pretty easy to find. It's towards the middle of the map in the little snowy biome right next to the Free Pal Alliance Tower. So you can use the Free Pal Alliance Tower entrance fast travel and come right over here to the actual tower. And right in front of the entrance, there's going to be a rock. And right next to that rock will be your next journal entry. The next one's a little bit difficult to find as it's in a random location. But what you want to do is head over to the Snowy Mountain Fork fast travel. You can see that location here on your map. And we're going to head northeast, and if you make your way to the exact location where my arrow is here, you guys can see here just for a second where to go. And once you get over here, it's going to look like this. It's kind of, again, just super random, not a lot going on over here. But right over here next to the mountainside where all these rocks are, you're going to be able to find your next one. So we can drop back down here, go ahead and pick that up, and we'll give you one last view of a look around here so you can kind of see the area in which it's in. For our next couple, we're going to head over to the desert region on the northeastern side of the map. We're going to start from the very southern point of that desert region. You can actually take the Eastern Wild Island fast travel to get here. We're going to go across the water and right over here on the southern side. When you get over here on top, you'll see there's a bunch of trees right here on the edge. We can drop on down right here into the middle of the trees, and we'll be able to pick up our next journal entry. Our next one's going to be found over by the Sand Dunes entrance fast travel. You guys can see that location here. We're going to be just north. So when you take the fast travel, there's going to be a bunch of trees that you'll pass and work your way all the way through those trees right up to the edge of the giant mountain. And right over here at the bottom of the mountain, you will be able to find the next journal entry. Our next one is pretty easy to find as it's located inside of the Dune Shelter. So you can take the Dune Shelter fast travel And once you make your way inside behind all of the merchants in the back left corner, you guys will see right over here by these tents, you will be able to find your next journal entry. For our next location, we're going to head just to the east to the PIDF Tower Entrance Fast Travel. You guys can see its location here. We're going to go off the cliff just to the right. So we're floating in the sky here. You guys can see the tower. Come right over here to the edge. You can jump off. And once you make your way to the bottom here, you guys can see right here in front of me is going to be our next one. So go ahead and drop down. Go ahead and pick this thing up. And that will be your next journal entry. Our next journal is going to be found northwest of the PIDF Tower Entrance Fast Travel. You guys can see the fast travel here. We want to go over here to these two giant rocks that are on the edge of the mountain and just northeast of the far northern rock where we are standing with our arrow here. You guys will see on ground level right over here against the mountain is going to be our next journal entry. The next one's going to be found just to the west of the deep sand dunes fast travel. You guys can see this giant mountain on your map. We're going to be on the northeastern side of that mountain. So not all the way at the top, but one level down. When you get over here, you can see exactly what this is going to look like right over here on the ledge. Now, currently there are some syndicate guards that are guarding this thing. I don't know if this is going to be on everybody's game, but just be careful if you're not a really high level, as these guys will take you out quickly, as you can see here in the video. But that is going to be the location for your next journal entry. For our next location, we're going to head just to the west of the Icy Weasel Hill Fast Travel. You guys can see that location here. And just to the west, there's this giant circular structure. We're going to be on the southern side of that circular structure on ground level. So you don't want to go all the way up to the top, but right here where our arrow is, you can see we're right here at the bottom. Right over here on this little structure, you're going to be able to find our next journal entry. So I'm going to pick that one up. The next location is found just to the east of the Land of Absolute Zero Fast Travel. You can see that fast travel here. And we're going to come right over here to exactly where you can see my arrow. And once you make your way over here, this is what it's going to look like. You've got a lot of really tall structures around you. And right over here in the ground in the snow, you're going to be able to find your next one. So go ahead and grab this one. We'll give you one last look around since this one is a little bit random as well. But right here on your map, head to this location, you'll be able to find it. Our next location is on the far northern side of the tundra region. We're going to be just north of the PAL Genetic Research Unit Tower Entrance Fast Travel. So you can take this one to get here fairly fast and just go straight north up here into this big circular open area of snow. And if you make your way to where our arrow is currently located, this is what it's going to look like up here. And right at the top of the hill in front of the rocks, you guys will be able to find your next journal entry. So we can go ahead and pick that one up, and that'll be your next one. Our next location is going to be found on the far western side of the map at the sanctuary that's just north of the volcano. You can take the Forgotten Island fast travel to get here pretty quickly, but all you need to do is come over here to this sanctuary, and right in the middle you'll be able to find the next one. You do want to be careful out here. There are some high level bosses or some high level pals that will come after you. But once you get over here to the middle, you guys can see it in between these rocks. You can go ahead and pick up your next journal entry. Our next location is going to be found on the northern side of the volcano region over by the ruined Fortress City fast travel. Now you guys can see as we zoom in on this fast travel, we're going to be just to the north over here in this ruined castle. And if you go to where our arrow is located, we're flying up above so you can see how a little bit easier on where to go. It's going to be in this square building right here. So we'll go ahead and drop off. You'll see it down here in the corner is where you're going to be able to find your next one. So you can drop on down, pick that up, and you'll have your next journal entry. Our next location is to the west of the ruined Fortress City fast travel. You guys can see right over here, you're going to have this massive bridge type wall that goes through the volcano region. You want to come right over here to this corner right here. So again, just west of where the ruined Fortress City is. And when you get over here on that corner, you guys can see on ground level at the bottom here is where your next one's going to be. So go ahead and drop down here. You do want to be careful as you'll have some high level pals hanging out in this area. But you can drop on down, go ahead and grab that, and you'll have your next one. Our next location is found at the southeast of the ruined Fortress City fast travel. You guys can see where our arrow is here. We're not actually in the rocky volcano area. We're going to be down here in the grass. But once you make your way down here, it'll be easy to spot as we have this really cool circular structure down here. And right in the middle of that structure is going to be your next journal entry. For our next location, we're going to head over to the Ancient Civilization Ruins fast travel on the southeastern side of the volcano. And what you want to do is work your way just north where you see my arrow. And once you get up here, we'll kind of show you the fast travel is right down there at the bottom of the hill. Just work your way up the hill and right over here next to these crazy rock or stone formations, you'll be able to find your next one. So we can come right over here. We'll go ahead and pick that up, and that will be your next journal entry. Our next location is going to be found on the far southwestern side of the volcano. It's just southeast of the beach of Everlasting Summer fast travel. You can see this pond area with what looks like kind of a giant rock right in the middle. If you go to the southwest of that, about where my arrow is, and we'll show you here what it looks like. Come right over here to the side up against this rock on the ledge, you'll be able to find your next one. So we can fly our way right over here, pick this one up, and that will be our next journal entry. Now, our 39th and final journal is not currently in the game as of right now. It's listed in the game, but it's not available to grab for anyone that's logging on because most likely it's in a region that we can't access yet. And if I had to take a guess, it's going to be in that giant tree that we can't currently get to. That is going to be Castaway journal entry number 5. You guys can see in our journals here in between 3 and 6. This is 5. It's listed in the game. You can see it, but you can't find it. And when it does become available, as of right now, February 7th, it is not available. But when it does become available, I'll leave it down in the comments below so you guys can see where to go and grab that thing. But this is how to find all the journal entries here in Palworld. I hope this helps some of you guys out. Appreciate you watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one.